So as I was saying today, we're obviously going to look at a crypto top 10 of crypto that have real potential in the future. But obviously, it must be understood that a small market cap means a big risk, so you have to assume, obviously, if one of these projects interests you, you won't forget to do your own research anyway, and you'll obviously go see if this project can interest you and indeed fit into the narrative that you also think is interesting. Do not foolishly take the cryptocurrencies indicated in this video without doing your own research. Hello crypto enthusiasts, welcome to the Crypto Bubble channel with your passionate guide, Roger. Today, we're diving into the ever-evolving ocean of cryptocurrencies with Roger, the master of cryptographic bubbles. Get ready for a captivating adventure through the latest discoveries, tips, and analyses of the crypto world. So the first project that I propose to you, it's called CraftLink, and it's true that it's an extremely interesting project. Indeed, it had experienced its small hype in 2021, but the project seems to have managed to regain the rebound it needed, and that's rather good news, knowing that today we are at 9 million market cap. If all the tokens were in circulation, we would be at 18 million market cap, and it is a project that is rather not bad since it allows to provide a platform for the automation of data between blockchain. That's very, very interesting. Basically, it's a kind of messaging between the blockchains, which can give a lot of possibilities if it obviously works well with concepts of cheats, therefore triggers, and which allow information to be passed from one blockchain to another. And we even see here potentially also to social networks. It's really very interesting as a project. He really deserves to be interested in it, and there are not many of them on the spot in this area there. This obviously does not mean that it will suffer a big hype, but suddenly, there is a real potential to be able to automate this type of elements at the blockchain level. In any case, the project is extremely interesting, and it is true that we are only 9 million from market cap. Roca, I put this project in my list. It is a little special, a little peculiar, but it has the advantage of offering something that very few still offer today in the world of cryptocurrency. And the new project that I propose to you, there is a curve that is rather pretty. It's like Axiom, so with its crypto code, which is quite interesting since it is one of the best proof-of-work special interests, but especially proof-of-war that we can mine offline in case it will just be necessary to be in a pool, and eventually the one who has a good connection will be the only one who can officially validate. But you will be able to worry free with a very meager or very small connection, to be able to put yourself in a mining pool and therefore indirectly to make validations without being connected to the internet. The fact of going through these networks and having the chance to be able to do mining even if your internet connection is not terrible is great news to see, obviously in terms of results, but I find that this type of project is quite promising. It is obviously a project that today is only at 2 million market cap, but which is quite logical. If we want to make fish, we must still bet on small projects, so be careful. Obviously, this type of project still has inflation, even if it is not big inflation anyway. So if we're going on a 2-year bear market, it would be nice, on the other hand, to pay attention that it will inevitably have an impact with more selling pressure. But the project itself is really excellent and deserves attention. There are real possibilities with projects like Actium to succeed this time without the third project. It's peering, so simply peering. This is a nut-breaking fork that finally seems to have found its bottom, since it has nevertheless dropped well since indeed its first listings. And who really wants to propose a cascade fork that is more efficient? But especially the first one, who will want to propose smart contracts to the general public, which will obviously be very interesting. Which could also be a test of smart contracts on DAG block, which is a different concept from that of classic blockchains. But he has the advantage of being a little ahead of the others. So a fork that could help, which does not pass, but which could suddenly also benefit from an extraordinary increase in the break knot. So for me it is a project where there are real possibilities on it, and we will obviously have to be wary of it. There is a way to make a very nice result on this type of project with the kit. Besides, there really is a way to do something. We'll obviously see, but it's off to a pretty good start. But as I say every time, small market cap may not be overlooked. Octa-Core 2, which is relatively recent since it dates from 2023, is also a project to be closely monitored, knowing that it is just about 16 million market cap. If all the tokens were in circulation, we would only be at 30, and we know that he is in an area where it can explode. There are projects like R&D or a cash network that have shown their power in this area, and so Octane Space simply makes it possible to do decentralized cloud computing, but also the same for VPN or data storage. It is obviously a project that deserves to be interested in it, since we have seen some projects explode in this area there. Knowing that we also have the integrated VPN, it seems rather not bad in my opinion. This is a project to be monitored very closely. It could also put itself forward enormously with an increase in artificial intelligence, since this type of project precisely brings GPU, the possibility of sharing GPU. And we know for a fact that artificial intelligence is in constantly increasing demand for this type of technology. So we'll obviously have to see, but in my opinion, Octaspace today is completely under the radar, and its curve shows us that it is rising regularly. We obviously hope that it will continue in this direction, but there may be a big move to be made obviously on this small project, which really has the possibility of going to us aplenty, knowing that we already know that inflation is limited for the rest of his life, even if lately he has had some difficulties at the level of his curve. But we have the impression that there is a potential bottom that is emerging. This is rather good news. Chlorinated, which is a little obviously in the same style of domain, only makes 28 million market cap. In the worst case, all diluted tokens, it would be 32 million. On the other hand, be careful, it is a token that is slightly inflationary, so that, obviously, will add selling pressure if we start on several years of bear market. So that, obviously, is something to take if you decide one day to get into it. But the advantage indeed of Chlorinated is that it is a distributed GPU supercomputer that aims to provide affordable access to GPU computing power. So he's focused on that. But what is obviously excellent, since the same for artificial intelligence, for video game streaming, which is skyrocketing in the world of video games, there are big possibilities. Obviously, this type of project will explode in the future. In any case, if you like this type of narrative, I personally recommend that you go and see a little bit what this famous colorful project can offer us, obviously relatively recent, and which has real possibilities to offer us for the future. And what is interesting right now is that its curve would seem to show us that there is a slowdown in the decline, and that could start rising again. And on these types of projects, in general, when it goes up quite a bit. The Off-Computer Swap token is also a project to be monitored very closely, since it offers big possibilities with so much in the world of the BRCC. It will therefore allow you to swap, to study towards another token. Here, you have the possibility to change the amounts, but what is excellent is that it is a swapper that allows you to directly swap tokens from PRC20 to BRC20. Obviously, it simplifies your task compared to the actions to be carried out, which are to do OTC. So this is very good news on this, with also the possibility obviously of bridge, and obviously of possibly participating in liquidity. Liquidity really allowing us to create this BP. So this is the first swap in PRC20 that seriously promises, and that's priceless. The BRC20, given the success it has, this token is revolutionizing the world of DP and on the side of Bitcoin. So for me, this token today has 26 million market cap, but in the worst case at 103 million has very, very big possibilities, since it will be number one in the size of the BR at the rate at which it is going. And if the BRK recognizes a dazzling success, as we have known, since it completely changes the rules in the world of cryptocurrency, gold should seriously benefit, and a little bit in the same field. It is a swap which has corrected damn well since its launch, but suddenly, which could interest us, 25 million market cap in the worst case at 29 million. Almost all tokens are in circulation. That's good news. No need to stress about it anymore. No more sales pressure that will increase deliriously. It follows swap, which obviously offers us a scary choice on the side of suits. So the blockchain layer 1 that is skyrocketing in people's heads. We must obviously have what it gives, but inevitably, knowing that it is so low, if he manages to make a big place for himself, there is really a way with his subtoken to make us a small X without a project, in my opinion, to be monitored very closely. Next project that went down well to see, obviously, but it is interesting, with its 16 million market cap. However, we will have to be very careful about its inflation risk, which is 10, because if all the tokens were in circulation, we would be at 150 million. Of course, inflation will not happen overnight, as we can see here. In essence, this is obviously interesting, but that it aims to create a layer blockchain, one that is scalable and more secure than existing blockchains. To see obviously what it will give, but it deserves that we are interested in it with scalability in it. So this possibility of making a lot of transactions per second, since there they promise us more than 10 billion transactions per day, with obviously transactions that will be fast and inexpensive. There will be smart contracts, mining which is inclusive and which is intended to be ultra secure to pay attention to. But this project, which is still obviously brand new and very recent, could fool us. He is less than a year old. In terms of totalization, in my opinion, it is one of the projects to be monitored very closely. The last project that I present to you is a little more twisted. We will not lie to ourselves. 10 million market cap. Beware. On the other hand, only 8% of the tokens are in circulation. So that, of course, will have to be monitored. But this is a project that is quite interesting, but completely crossed out. It's obviously difficult to tell if he's going to have an explosion or not, but he deserves to be quite different from what we may know. So, this is a blockchain project that aims to create a global network of spatial data mining stations. It uses a technology called space weather mining to collect spatial data. Space weather mining uses space data mining stations that are installed on the roofs of buildings. These stations use GNSS antennas to collect data on disturbances in the Earth's magnetic field. So be careful. Obviously, this is an extremely special project. Maybe it will never work, but I think it deserves attention because it's so completely crazy that there is a possibility that this type of project will surprise with results and a very particular narrative. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. This is the project that seems to me to be the riskiest in the current top 10, but I thought it really deserved to be looked into. So, wrapping up our exploration of the top 10 crypto projects with real potential. Remember, these low market cap gems come with risks, so do your own research. Quick recap: CraftLink, Actium, Peering, Octaspace, Chlorinated, Off-Computer Swap Token, S-Swap, Hyperchain, and the unique space weather mining. If any caught your eye, do your homework. Before we end, if you found this insightful, like and subscribe for more. Your support keeps us going. Happy exploring and investing.